Put into words how excited you guys were when you realized you were going to be in position to draft somebody who was considered to be, at the very least, the second best quarterback in the draft, in Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State. Talk to me about that for a second.
Well, as you go through the draft process, and Doug Williams and Kyle Smith did a tremendous job with all the scouts of starting to set the board, but then you start to visualize these players and what they would look like in the burgundy and gold, and we were hoping. That's all you could do at that point is hope, because we had made the decision that we weren't going to trade a lot of draft capital to move up, because we liked a lot of the players in this draft. And when he fell to us, it was a good start to the evening. And then, as we've talked about, when we got Montez Sweat also in the first round, it was a full-blown celebration.
Talk to us and tell us how you guys collectively felt about Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Snyder. Was this the guy he wanted?
Well, first of all, yeah, Dan supported it, as did everybody. But, all of those great draft day stories are classic. One, his son does go to the high school that Dwayne went to 6 years ago. His son's only a sophomore at the school, and Dan hasn't been to a workout, I think, in about 10 or 12 years. So he didn't attend any workouts this year, but he was excited that we got the guy that we wanted. The person leading our personnel department is a guy named Doug Williams.
Yes.
And if you want to trust somebody's judgment on quarterbacks, I think he's a pretty good man to lean on.
Bruce Allen right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. So let's look at this before I move on to Montez Sweat and others. Let me ask you this question. When you look at your quarterback situation, when can we expect to see him? You got a coach in Jay Gruden who's been there for years, but Alex Smith is out with that nasty leg injury he suffered against the Houston Texans. Obviously, you've got the Colt McCoys of the world and others that are going to be there. Case Keenum, for example, you brought them both in, but people don't anticipate that come 2020, they'll be the starting quarterback. It'll be Dwayne Haskins. But in this day and age, it depends on your thinking. You got some people that look at the quarterback and say, hey, we don't mind the Aaron Rodgers philosophy, sitting down and waiting a couple of years or so before you insert it in there. But then you got others that have started as a rookie. What should we expect from Dwayne Haskins in a Redskins uniform as it pertains to that particular subject?
Stephen, every one of our draft picks, the way we look at it, is they're going to get 4-year contracts. Every draft choice in the NFL gets a 4-year contract. And whether their peak year is 2019 or 2020, 21 or 22, it really doesn't matter to us. We wanted players that are going to be good for the Redskins this year and beyond. When he's ready to play, that'll determine how quickly he gets acclimated to it. We have one of the secret weapons in Alex Smith being here. He helped develop Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. I think surround him with the environment we have of quarterback-friendly people, from offensive coordinator to Doug, I mentioned, our head coach, our quarterback coach. We'll know the right time to play him, and we're waiting to hear still on what Alex's condition is this season.
Bruce Allen, let's transition to your other first-round pick. You moved up in the draft to grab him, I think, if I remember, like 26th overall. Talk about Montez Sweat. You know what, he's an edge rusher. A lot of expectations for him. If he weren't diagnosed with a heart condition at the NFL Combine, a lot of people felt that he would have gotten taken significantly higher. Tell us your thoughts about him and what we can expect from him.
Well, I think he's going to bring some rare speed and strength and size to our outside linebacker position. We're very fortunate to have Ryan Kerrigan, who's among the top outside linebackers for the last 7 years on one end. This will give the tandem of our defense will give the opposing quarterback some nightmares the night before the game. He's productive, he's produced, and when you meet him, you'll recognize that this guy fits the mold of what a pass rusher should look like.
Coming into this draft, obviously you needed an edge rusher. You clearly needed a quarterback. Some would argue that obviously you also needed another tight end. I'm a fan of Jordan Reed. I think the brother can play when healthy. Vernon Davis speaks for itself. We know what he could do. The question mark with both of them was run blocking in terms of how effective they are in that position. When you look at your lineup overall, you can start with the tight end position. You could go to the running back anywhere you want to. How are you feeling about your offense overall after this draft?
Well, we added quite a bit to the offense. We drafted 2 offensive linemen. We drafted 2 wide receivers. Both of the wide receivers are 3-down wide receivers. They block, they catch, and they can run extremely well. The running back we drafted, Bryce Love, just a year ago, he was in the Heisman Trophy talk. He came in second to Baker Mayfield and beat out the lights of Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley and Rashad Penny. So we're hoping he gets healthy. We think we added to the offense, but getting Sweat and a couple other linebackers we think has helped our defense as well.
Some people look at Jay Gruden and they've questioned whether or not he's the right man for this job. Is it a year-by-year thing with him, or is it one of those situations where the Redskins have profound faith in him and you can see him as your head coach for years to come?
Yeah, that's the way we're looking at it right now. You have to. We're optimistic about the team coming back. If we can get back the players who got hurt, get our focus back going. As you've seen, if you were here, you should have been here today at practice, Stephen. You wouldn't even ask the question like this. But
Bruce, I'm not trying to come to a practice in the spring. I mean, come on, Bruce, don't do that to me, Bruce. I mean, come on. I don't mind. I love coming to the games, but I mean, spring practice. I mean, come on, Bruce. I'm not trying to do that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't trying to do that. Not in the expense of NBA playoff action. Now, once the games start, I got you.
But if you see the enthusiasm in the building and what the coaches feel they can do with the talent we have, we're looking at this season as a great opportunity for us. But we're only going to achieve the goal if we work hard for every day until we get to that opening day against the Philadelphia Eagles.